Hi, welcome to the LGBTQ review with me, James, and this is Beth. We showcase and sometimes kind of review, but if you have a better word for it, please let us know. LGBTQIA plus content. And today we are doing some film recommendations.
My first recommendation is Stage Mother, the 2020 Canadian drama film directed by Tom Fitzgerald. It's about a conservative church choir director whose estranged son dies, and she goes to San Francisco to the funeral and finds out that she's inherited a gay bar. She's inherited a gay bar.
One of us has to go. Make sure he's put to rest properly.
He already moved on from us years ago.
You can't punish him anymore.
Are you Ricky's mom? From Texas?
Ricky owned the bar. It's yours now.
Oh, my Lord, I've inherited a gay bar.
You forgot to tell me?
It's been overwhelming.
I'd suggest you mingle, but I don't think you have much in common with this crowd.
All right, up next, Joan of Arc, Get it?
Not really much of a crowd.
It's on Netflix, and it's got Jackie Weaver. It stars as Maybelline Metcalf, and Lucy Liu is there. It's also got Nate from The Devil Wears Prada in, which I think is important. He plays the boyfriend.
My first recommendation is Alex Strangelove, which is a 2018 film that's on Netflix. It's a romantic comedy directed by Craig Johnson.
My name is Alex Truelove. Yes, that's my real name. I have a 4.0 GPA, I'm student body president, and I have a great girlfriend.
You're coming with us to this party, and you're gonna let your little constipated hair down and enjoy yourself.
Come on, join the cool kids. I think we're here to corrupt you, Alex.
There you are!
So I have a girlfriend. I know. She's adorable. She is.
There's this guy who I'm pretty sure has a crush on me, and I guess I'm not repulsed by the idea.
Yeah, it's really lovely. The director did Skeleton Twins, which is a film I saw, and I remember liking quite a lot.
My next recommendation is a short film called Peach. It's an Australian film written and directed by Rowan Devereaux and Sophie Seville. It follows a socially anxious young woman who is trying to figure out if she's on a date or not, which is like hugely relatable content, and it's good. I like it a lot. It's like 10 minutes, like 8 or 10 minutes. Something happens and you're like, well, it's a date. This is the point where I've decided that it is a date. And even then she's still like, I don't know.
My next recommendation is Duck Butter. Yeah, it's on Netflix, 2018 comedy by Miguel Arteta. Two people who meet one night in a club decide that after getting together they're going to spend like 24 hours together. That doesn't happen straight away, and then one of them doesn't get an acting job that they thought they were going to get, and then they're like, let's do that properly, and they spend 24 hours together, and then it's not very nice sometimes, but sometimes it is also nice. And there's like a gross thing that happens at the end, which I'm like, that didn't need to be in this film. I was thinking about this the other day. I was trying to find stuff that isn't like romantic with like LGBTQIA plus characters, and it's near impossible.
My next recommendation is the short film Breakin, written and directed by Aisha Lerner, a queer Filipino-American writer and director. The film follows Nosha, who's writing erotic fiction about her crush and reading it to her best friend Oliver. And as she's reading it, she accidentally emails it to her crush.
You want me to break into a stranger's house and steal their phone and delete their personal messages?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Really?
Okay.
Okay.
The friendship between the best friends is really nice. It was nominated for the Iris Prize at the 2020 festival, and it's really good, and I love it.
I think we describe most things as nice. I guess it's just because that's so unusual sometimes for these characters to be in situations or worlds that is just like positive. My next film recommendation is Pink Narcissus, which is a 1971 art house experimental film by James Bidgood. It's really lovely. It's like this really kind of dreamy queer film. And it's really like the backstory behind the film is as interesting as the film itself. It's all just like images and music and things, and there's a bit of a story, but it's like really beautiful colors, and it's on YouTube if anyone wants to watch it. But the thing around the film that's interesting is like the filmmaker just made it because he wanted it to exist because it didn't exist before, but the studio didn't want to release the version that he made. So the version that he made has never been released, and it's just like this cut down version, and he spent so long trying to get it made and stuff, but the only version that exists still is like this kind of hacked up version. I think some of the actors changed as well during the film just because of the way it took so long to make, because it's like Super 8 and grainy and like all just like these bright colors and stuff. It doesn't really matter. There's like some dance sequences in there, and it's very erotic. It's fun.
My next recommendation is Disclosure, the 2020 documentary directed by Sam Fender. It's an in-depth look at Hollywood's depiction of transgender and non-binary people and the impact of those stories on transgender lives and American culture. Yeah, it's so good. I just think everybody should watch it. It's also really interesting because they're like this TV show from the noughties and how terrible the representation is and how awful it is, and then it's like this TV show from now and how good it is, and they're made by the same people, so how like progress is slowly being made and stuff. It's got so many great trans and non-binary people in doing like talking head bits.
My next recommendation is half film, half TV. It's Wet Hot American Summer, right? Which is an odd choice, but there's like something in the film that's good, and then they expand on it in the later series, which is like actually good. But in the film, there's the relationship between Mackenzie and so it's Michael Ian Black and Bradley Cooper, and their relationship is, they're talking about this in an interview, and I thought it was really interesting. So they're talking about the fact that that's the only film in the film that isn't a joke, and because of that, it kind of stands out and is funny. But I think that's half true. I don't think it is funny. I think it's just like a lovely relationship to see on screen. But in the later series, Bradley Cooper gets recast by Adam Scott, and they just say like he's had a nose job. It's Adam Scott now, which I like. But then they have like a kid, and they go back 10 years later to the camp and have a reunion and stuff. But their relationship then is just like really lovely, and it's like an actual fully developed thing that you get to see on screen. Yeah, I think the original film and then like the first series is like there's not much to it, but you need to kind of get through that if you don't mind the thing as a whole. If you want to get to this bit, you have to kind of go through it.
My next recommendation is A Country Called Home, which is a 2015 drama starring Imogen Potts and Mackenzie Davis. It's on Amazon, and it's about a young woman who returns home to Texas for her estranged father. Well, he dies basically, so she goes home. And she meets Reno, who's a trans man, and they just have a lovely friendship. That's not the film. That's not what the film is about, but that's the bit that I'm recommending. It's like a really lovely, quiet film and narrative, and it's got terrible reviews, but I think it's nice. You know, I like those films where nothing happens. And the friendship bit of it is so happy and nice. Like they just meet and then they're friends, and that's it. And everything is completely fine. But Reno is played by Mackenzie Davis, so he is played by a cis woman. That's an issue. I've got some honourable mentions. Boy Erased, I recommended that in like 2019 or 18. That's on Netflix now. So if you want to cry a lot about how bad some Christians are, then get on that. Moxie, Amy Poehler's teen drama. I want to recommend it, but it's really complicated. It's not gay, but there is 20 seconds where two side characters kiss, and nobody says anything about it, and that's like all that happens, which I think is really great, right? That it's not a thing and everyone is just like, sure, they're kissing. In like films that aren't gay at all, that's the sort of representation I want to see, just like, and also some gay people on screen. I mean, the rest of the film is fine. It's really difficult. I think it's a good film. There's a hint of white savior about it that I'm not into again. It would have been much more interesting from one of the other characters' perspectives, but I understand why she's made it from the perspective that she's made it from. Also, they are like a working class family, which is great. Nico from Booksmart's in it. That was nice. He's my favorite teen movie love interest, like straight man love interest at the moment. I think he's pretty good. I haven't seen many films lately, so I can't recommend them. I'm just watching The Wilds over and over again. I watch Rocks. That's really good. That's on Netflix, but it's not even a little bit gay. But watch that, everyone. That's great.
Again, like a lot of what I've seen is like superhero stuff because I would just watch it with my mum, and that's like the thing that I get to watch, and it's like, there's so little in there.
Those were our queer film recommendations. If you have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments below. We need them, obviously, because so many of our recommendations were not that gay. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and follow us on Twitter at LGBTQ_review and on Instagram at LGBTQ review. Next time, more recommendations. Goodbye.